Hello, beautiful people, and thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of 7 Minute Sermons. I am TheCarringtonBrown, and let's get rolling. So today on 7 Minute Sermons, what we're going to be talking about is the way, right? And not just in a specific area, but in all areas, right? One of the common titles or descriptions that I would say older, more mature individuals have given on the generations now is the microwave generation. They say we as people now, we want what we want right now. Like everything is J.G. Whitworth status in the form of it's my relationship, it's my money, it's my job, it's my career, it's my house, and I want it now. The world we live in today, the generation does not know the value of waiting, and not only the value of it, but the amount of time that the people that you look up to, the people that the Bible speaks about, the amount of time that they had to wait in order to see the vision or the revelation come to fruition that God gave them, right? And so to prove the necessity of waiting and how it's blessings in waiting and how it's necessary for all of us to wait, I'm going to use Noah as an example. And so when we read the story of Noah, we know that, God directed him to build the ark. And he was on the ark with two of each animals and his family and all that beautiful stuff. But when you actually read through it, you see the value of time, and you really get an opportunity to point out and to see how long Noah actually had to wait to see the revelation that God gave him come to fruition. And then to even be freed from that, right? So let's start, all right? So point one that I'm going to give you guys is 100, right? And the reason why is because of this. In Genesis 5:32, and this is the first time that it says anything about the age of Noah, but it says, by the time Noah was 500 years old, he was the father of Shem, Ham, Japheth. Right. The next time we hear something about Noah's age is right after God gives him the direction as it pertains to building the ark, and that rain is coming. And that's in Genesis 7:6. And it says Noah was 600 years old when when the flood covered the earth. Right. So Noah was 500 when God came to him and said, hey, I'm going to destroy the world via water. I'm going to flood the world. It's going to rain, and gave him the directions and the dimensions of not just to build the ark, but how many inches does this need to be? How many feet does this need to be? How do you need to do everything? Right. So Noah was 5. I'm gonna say I'm gonna come from a perspective of the longest amount of time. So I'm going to say that Noah was 500, right? When God gave him this direction, when God gave him this revelation, when God gave him this information, right? And so Noah started being obedient when he was 500 years old and didn't see or experience the flood until he was 600 years old, right? And so one of the things that was common throughout the story of Noah is it said multiple occasions that God commanded Noah, and Noah did exactly what God commanded him to do. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. So God commanded Noah, and Noah did exactly what God commanded him to do. And he still had to wait 100 years from the time he got the revelation about the flood coming until the flood actually covered the earth, right? Point two is 40, right? And the reason why point two is 40 is because as he and his family was in the actual ark, as he and two of every kind of animal was actually on the ark, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, right? Genesis 7:17 says, for 40 days, the flood waters grew deeper, covering the ground and lifting the boat high above the earth. So for 40 days, him, his family, and all of these animals were on the ark. The rain was pouring, the water was coming, the earth was covered with water. And him and his family was in here with all of these animals, right? So it rained for 40 days and 40 nights as they were actually on the ark. And point three is this, 12.5, right? And the reason why is because in Genesis 8, chapter 8, verses 13 through 14, it says, Noah was now 601 years old. On the first day of the new year, 10 and a half months after the flood began, the flood waters has almost dried up from the earth. Noah lifted back the covering of the boat and saw that the surface of the ground was drying. 2 more months went by, and at last the earth was dry. So the reason why point number 3 is 12.5 is because knowing it took 100 years for Noah to actually experience the fruit of the revelation that God gave him as it pertains to the rain, right? It took 100 years for the rain to actually pour. Then as he was on the boat or in the ark with all the animals and his family, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. After it stopped raining, he waited a year and a month right? Well, a year and a half of a month to actually be able to get out of the boat. Right. So not only was he in the boat for 40 days and 40 nights as it was raining, he had to wait a full year and then half of the first month in order to actually get out of the boat. So let's look at this. God gave him the revelation at 500 years old, and the full fruition of the revelation happened over 101 years and a half month. Right. So Noah was obedient, did everything that God commanded him to do, exactly how God commanded him to do it, when God commanded him to do it, and he still had to wait 101 years and a half month for the full fruition of the revelation that God gave him. Now, if Noah did exactly what God commanded him to do, and he had to wait this long, why do you think that you're any different? We as people, we complain when we reach 25, 30 and not married yet. We're 25, 30, don't have kids yet, not having a family yet. We complain about we have these goals, dreams, and we have to read all of these books, go to these seminars, get mentors, connect, invest in ourselves. We complain about the time it takes to be in our career. We complain about the time it takes to actually buy that house, to buy that car, to get these finances for our business to be successful. We complain about the amount of time that we have to wait for so many things to happen, overlooking the truth that, one, the process is more important than the prize that you're praying for, because the process is what actually prepares you for that prize. And two, the process is needed because you aren't who you need to be in order to have and steward and take care of what God has blessed you with, or what you are praying for God to give you. Right. So as people, we all have to adopt the fruit of patience and recognize that, patience is necessary. Patience is valuable, but then also understand that whether you're doing things exactly the way that God commanded you to do or not doing them, either way, you're going to have to wait. Because once again, Noah waited 101 years and a half month in order to get the full fruition from the revelation that God gave him. And he did exactly what God commanded him to do. So whether you're being perfect or exact with the commands that God has given you or not, you're still going to have to wait. You're still going to have to be patient. And so one thing I learned is that when it comes to process and it comes to patience, one of the most important things is not just your process, but one of the most important things is your posture in your process. How do you process? Right? How are you in this process? What is your level of gratitude? What is your attitude through this process? All right. So beautiful people, that's all I wanted to give y'all today. Waiting is necessary. Waiting is valuable. And whether you're doing things exactly the way God commanded you to or not, you're still going to have to wait, and you're still going to have to be patient. I hope this episode of 7 Minute Sermons actually helped you, bless you. If it did, like, comment, share. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button. Click that bell as well so that you can consistently be getting notified when I put out videos. Also, if you haven't already, follow me on all social media platforms. I'm at TheCarringtonBrown. I love y'all so much, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.